Hi and welcome in this new video. Hope you're doing well, hope your day is great, and stay because you are going to discover what are the dynamic DAGs and how to save a lot of time with them. My name is Mark Lamati, I'm the head of customer education at Astronomer, best-selling instructor on Udemy, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, smash the like button, that will help me a lot to increase the visibility of that wonderful video. And without further ado, what are exactly the dynamic DAGs? Let's say you have different inputs, source A, B, and C, and that could be files. Now, one solution that you can use to process them is to have a giant DAG with all the processing in that DAG for your files. But the problem with that solution is obviously your DAG will be pretty big, so hard to maintain, and if something fails, like one file fails, you may need to rerun your entire DAG and you will waste resources and time. So this is something that you may not want. Instead, another solution could be to have as many DAGs as sources as inputs you have. But now, do you want to create like one DAG for every file and duplicate all the code? You don't want that neither. And this is where dynamic DAGs jump in. With dynamic DAGs, you have the ability to create as many DAGs as you want dynamically based on inputs. Let me show you how it works. So you have your inputs, again, that could be file names, and then you have a DAG, one DAG that corresponds to the model that you want to use to create every DAG for every input. And with a mechanism that you are going to discover in a minute, you will be able to generate your DAGs dynamically in a snap. Thanks to that solution, if you need to update your DAG, for example, you want to change where the processed data is stored in another database, you just need to modify the DAG structure, the DAG model, you change the database here, and that modification is automatically applied to all generated DAGs. So you save a lot of time and you are less prone to make mistakes. In addition, if something fails in one of the DAGs, that impacts only the specific DAG and not the others, so you save time and resources. That being said, it's time to see how to implement dynamic DAGs in Airflow. If you want to follow that video and you don't have a running Airflow instance on your machine, I strongly recommend you to go with the Astro CLI. If you don't know what is the Astro CLI, it is an open source project that allows you to run Airflow locally in the easiest possible way. To install it, you just need to go to the following link and then the Astro CLI, configure the CLI, and now you can see how to install the Astro CLI according to your operating system, Mac, Windows, or Linux. The only prerequisite to install the Astro CLI is to have Docker installed on your machine. Once you have everything installed, you are ready to move forward. First step, create a new folder, let's call it tutorial in this case, then go into it and run the command astro dev init in order to initialize a development environment with the Astro CLI. If you hit enter and take a look at the files and folders that you have now, you can see that the Astro CLI generates DAGs, include plugins and other files such as the packages.txt, requirements.txt, everything that you need to run Airflow locally in the best possible conditions. Now, you just need to open your code editor. In my case, it is Visual Studio Code, but feel free to use the code editor that you want in that folder. And now it's time to implement the dynamic DAGs. Okay, to dynamically generate DAGs, you need inputs. Let's create those inputs. Go to the folder include, create a new folder, and let's name it inputs, with the first file being config_apple.yaml. In this file, you can put the following values. Let's begin with DAG ID with the value apple, then a schedule interval with the value @daily, then the catch-up parameter, which is equal to false, like that, and an input, let's say 126, which is like the price of the Apple stock. So what do we have here? Well, we just have a DAG ID that we are going to use in the generated DAG. The schedule interval, we want to use daily, the catch-up parameter false, and the input 126. You will see what does it mean later. Next, we can duplicate that file twice. So let's paste it twice, like that. and rename the two files. So one with config_fb for Facebook. In this case, we change the DAG ID with Facebook. We can keep the schedule interval daily. And now let's modify the input with 220. Save the file. Same thing for the last one. config_Google. And here the DAG ID is Google with the input 3324. And we can modify the @daily as well. So let's use @weekly. And that's it. Okay, so you have three files, config Apple, config FB, and config Google, that will be used to generate the DAGs dynamically. So you will end up with 3 DAGs, one for Apple, one for Facebook, and one for Google, that will be automatically created. That being said, the next step is to create the DAG model, the template that will be used to generate the DAGs. Go back to the folder include and create a new folder, templates. In that folder, you create a new file that you can name dag_template.jinja2. And now it's time to tell you what is exactly Jinja. Jinja is a Python template engine to inject data at runtime. For example, you have two files, an input file and a template file. In the input file, you have the data that you want to inject in the template file. As you can see here, the input file has the values Google, weekly, false, and 3324. And just below you have the template file with the sentence and the placeholders that will be replaced by the values from your input file. This is done by Jinja. At the end, you get the output, the DAG Google has a schedule interval weekly, the catch-up false with the value 3324. That's how it works, and that's what we are going to use as well to generate the DAGs dynamically. Back to your code editor, in the DAG template, you need to define the DAG that will be used as a template for your generated DAGs. Let's do that. So you type from Airflow, import DAG, then just below from Airflow.decorators, import task, then from datetime, import datetime, and we instantiate a DAG object. So with DAG, let's put get_price, then the DAG ID. And as you can see here, we specify a placeholder that Jinja recognizes in order to replace the value at runtime. So DAG ID here will be replaced by Google or Facebook or Apple. Then we want to specify a start date. So let's specify the start date with a datetime object 2211. Then the catch-up parameter, or actually the schedule interval. Again, we put a placeholder with the value schedule interval as defined in the input file. Then we specify the catch-up parameter as well, so catch-up. And like before, we use a pair of curly brackets with the value catch-up, or if the catch-up doesn't exist in the input file, we want to use false by default. That's what it means. And finally, as DAG, and we are ready to create the tasks. So as you can see, nothing changed here. We just define the DAG with the tasks and we put the placeholders that are recognized by Jinja to inject the values at runtime. We create 3 tasks. So let's create one at task def extract with symbol, or let's say stock, return stock. We can create 2 other tasks like that. Here, let's put process and finally send email. Here we do nothing else, and for that one we just print the value. Again, this is just for the example, so those tasks do nothing actually, they are just here for the example. Then last but not least, we need to define the dependencies, and for that we use send email, process, and extract with input, again as defined in the input files. As you can see, input 3324 will be used here. Okay, now we have the input files and the template file. The last step is to have the script in charge of generating the DAGs. And for that, I've already created one, but you can go to the folder include, you create a new folder scripts, and in that folder you put the file dag_generator.py. In this file, this is what you will end up with. So don't hesitate to pause the video and copy the code, but that's the script in charge of generating your DAGs dynamically. So as you can see, we use Jinja and YAML as we have input files in YAML. We get the directory include where the folders, inputs, scripts and templates are. Then we load the template as shown by this line. Just below, we loop over the different input files that we have, config apple.yaml, config facebook.yaml and config google.yaml, and for every file we load the file with the YAML package, and finally we render the template with the inputs as shown by this line. That creates a Python file with the following name: get price, the inputs, DAG ID as described in the input files. You see DAG ID, Google. And now if we go to the terminal and run the script with Python 3 or Python include scripts DAG generator, you can see on the left in the folder DAGs, 3 new DAGs, get price Apple, get price Facebook and get price Google, generated by the script. If you open get price Google, for example, you see Google as defined in the input file config Google, right there. Then the scheduled interval is at weekly, again as defined here. And the input is 3324 as defined in the corresponding input file 3324. Same thing if you open get price Apple, for example, you can see the DAG ID is Apple as defined here. The schedule interval is at daily as defined here. And the input is 126 as defined here. And that's how you can generate DAGs dynamically with a script, input files, and the template file. Let me show you what you get on the Airflow UI. In your terminal, run the command astrodev start to start Airflow locally. Then you just need to wait a little bit. Once Airflow is up and running, you go to the following link and you type admin, then you sign in. And as you can see, we obtain the 3 DAGs as expected. So that's how you can generate DAGs dynamically with Jinja. Now that method has many benefits, and the first one is it scales. Indeed, you can generate as many data pipelines as you want. Also, you generate one DAG, one file. What does it mean? It means you can access the generated code, and so it is easier to debug your data pipelines if you need to. And you have to think of those benefits compared to the single file method of generating your DAGs dynamically, with the global thing in the file. Indeed, with that method, if you make a mistake in the for loop, you are going to generate the DAGs right away. Whereas with the method that we just saw, you need to execute a script. So if you make a mistake, it will be easier to avoid that one and to debug. Also, because you only have one file that generates all the DAGs, you won't be able to access the code of those generated DAGs. My personal recommendation, go with that method. It is the best one to generate your DAGs. Thank you for having watched that video. Take care, don't forget to subscribe, and see you in another video.